Razabani for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast in Manchester here, well, in Pat's town. In Pat's room as well, actually, in the hotel. Pat, Barrett, how are we doing?
I'm good, thank you, I'm very good.
How's life treating you in this hotel? I've just seen 2 radiators pop in.
No, I don't like the cold, man. It's kind of like the high roof, and it's a massive place, and the bathroom's so big. It's like a garden, that bathroom. And there's just like a little bath in the middle of it, no shower. So I'm there about to run a bath and get in it and sit in there to warm up and hopefully bang these 2 heaters on that they've given me.
You wouldn't come, like I said to you earlier, you wouldn't come across a man who likes to lay in the bath with some bubbles, because I saw the bubbles.
You know what? You're right. I wouldn't be a man that really likes to be in and out of the shower. But then when you're somewhere else and it's not home, you take you want to give yourself that little bit of a time. So I mean, so.
Well, I just popped to Tesco. You should have told me I would have bought you some candles, put some candles on as well.
I don't know if that's me really with the candles, I think that's more of a woman thing.
Pat, we're here. It's fight week. We've obviously had the media workout. It's your man Zelfa Barrett's turn. A huge opportunity this week. Firstly, how's he been looking in the gym, and how has his preparation been?
To be quite honest with you, he's been looking good. I mean, he's had a long camp, and he's been training from the same time, alongside with Lyndon. So it's been round about the same time. It was only a couple of weeks after that. So, he's trained really, really hard, as he normally does. He's prepared well. But like I said, he's prepared well. And when I say he's prepared well, I don't mean physically, I mean mentally. We go over the drills. We sat the other day. I was at his house. He was at my house, and we was just going over everything. And we're checking on things. It's like when you go on holiday, don't forget this, don't forget that. We go and make sure that we get in, the plan absolutely spot on. I don't want another episode of what we did last time. I just don't think the plan was a bit off set. So I have to make sure as a trainer that it's, it doesn't happen. Lightning's not going to strike twice.
I spoke to Zelfa earlier this afternoon, and he said to me, "Listen, I'm going for a Nando's." I'm like, "Whoa, you're 3 days from a weigh-in. Nando's right for you? 3 days out?" And he said, "I've got nutrition on board, and I am in the best shape I've ever been in."
You know what? For the first time, it's very rare to say this, but I am going to agree with Zelfa. I mean, he's made the weight really comfortable. I think a lot of fighters should really have these good nutritionists to help them, because make the weight. Because I didn't know what it was like to have a nutritionist, but I mean, he looks a lot healthier. He doesn't look drawn. He looks great. He looks brilliant. He looks strong. He's still drinking water. He's still eating food. And he's done this weeks before, and his nutrition is absolutely fantastic.
Would it have helped him getting a nutritionist many fights ago, or was this something that you discussed now that it's time for him to get a nutritionist as you start building some momentum towards the world title?
Well, I'm going to tell the truth. Like I said, I mean, I was always one for struggling to make the weight. I was big for the weight. So, there's some things you can be good at, and I'm not going to lie, making the weight and trying to be a nutritionist is not really my forte. I'm not going to lie. I can give good advice on it, and I would advise everyone to do like what Zelfa did, get a nutritionist, get someone that can help you make the weight, that tells you how much you need to make weight, you still feel strong and whatever. When he fought Kiko, if you look at Zelfa when he fought Kiko, now I look at him, I think, wow, you look malnutrition, but it does it, but you can only go so long in your career before it'll catch up on you, and it'll catch up on you in a fight. So it's time to change it before it does. You know what I mean? You can't keep doing the same things and doing things at a comfortable pace. So now he's changed it. Now the big difference in his attitude. I mean, I can't shut him up now. Where before he used to be like moody little twat, piss me off. You know what I mean? I cannot even be in the same room with him. But now he's like he's not shut up. He's been like a minor bird, keeps chirping on, and he's been talking all day. And it's nice to see that, when he's really happy. He's happy with himself. He's happy with his training. He's happy with everything. You know what I mean? So, what more can I say? That's what makes a good fighter.
Bruno Tarimo, he's got similar amount of fights as Zelfa. I think Bruno's had 2 losses, Zelfa's had 1. Spoke to Bruno's team today, haven't spoken to Bruno himself. They are extremely confident about getting this victory. What have you seen of Bruno, and how much of a threat is he going to be for Zelfa?
Well, no, anybody at this level can be a threat for Zelfa. And we have to take him so seriously, and the first thing we have to do is respect him for what he has done, for what he's achieved, his accomplishment. This is a world title eliminator, and we have to go at this with everything that we've got. All the kind of experience that we've learnt in the game, from going back from when he was an amateur to where he's at now. We have to be this has got to be the best Zelfa that's got to be here on Saturday night, and we have to keep it contained and just hope that we don't lose the plot and give anything away. It's kind of obvious in so many ways, without being disrespectful, how he's going to come to Zelfa, because when I say he's one-dimensional where he just keeps coming. And when you know someone who just keeps coming relentlessly, you have to find a way of how to beat him. Yeah, and this is, again, we've got the blueprint of what we have to do, but it's not a question of that. It's a question about doing it on the night, because it's always all right saying, "Oh, we prepared well, we've done this, etc., etc." Which again, I've been down that road before, so it's a question now of sitting with Zelfa. The last few days, he's been to see me at my house, and I've been to see him at his house. I've spent time with him, and we've gone over things several times. Where to the point, it's not where I have to tell him, it's what he just has to understand, because it's too late at a thingy to start adding things into it. But he's comfortable with everything, he's happy with everything, he's aware of what's going to be coming at him, because no matter how you prepare for somebody, you don't know how they're going to come out the first 2 rounds, because you can be wrong. So what you have to do, you have to be open-minded in the first early rounds. Yeah, and that's where you've got to use your own experience and your own knowledge to say how they can come, how you can box. Do you know what I mean? I can't see him coming, ding, running right at Zelfa, but in the time closest, he's going to be moving and trying to get close as possible. He's also going to respect Zelfa's punching power, because he ain't going to go in there and not respect Zelfa's power, because I'm sure Zelfa's had something like 16 knockouts out of his 24 fights, 25 fights. Do you know what I mean? So, he's got to have the respect, because we're going to have respect for him, even though he's only had 6 knockouts. People can develop later on down in the career. So, people can just catch him with the right timing of a shot. So, so there's no way we're going to go in there with no respect for him. We've got the most respect for him. We think he's in a position to fight for the world title. That means taking Zelfa's place away. So we have to make sure that we have the lid on well tight, and nothing's being given away.
You've gone in detail there about trying to instill and drill the message into Zelfa about what the kind of game plan is going to be and what he needs to do. Is there more pressure because it is a final eliminator? Have you gone that extra length to make sure that, listen, Zelfa, this is a final, this is your opportunity for a world title in 2022. This is what you've been fighting for growing up in the sport of boxing for this particular moment. You have to listen to me, you have to get it right.
Not really in so many ways, because the way we've always gone into every fight's been a world title fight for us. We've never treated any fight any different from being at the top. Even when we was at the bottom, we always treated the opponents, the styles, trained for them styles, watch what we was up against. We've been doing this game planning from being an amateur. Even from being in the championships, from now, Zelfa's learned everything, because for some reason we always knew he was fighting, even as a kid. So he's always trained for styles, Zelfa, and he's learned to adapt to say, what's the difference between what he did as an amateur, as an early pro, to fighting for the world title, to fighting for the world title eliminator, to fighting for the Commonwealth. You're still watching someone, and you've got to prepare for their style, you've got to create something. So there is no difference. The only thing what comes along with it later on, you become masterful at what you're doing, and never ever forget about what you're doing, and never ever disrespect your opponent, never ever think that you can't do this, because you've got your Lomachenko's, you've got your Crawfords, you've got your fighters like that are full on it, and if you watch what happened with Lomachenko when he boxed, what's it called? Yeah. I mean, the concentration from that for me wasn't the same as what it was normally with Lomachenko, because he was waiting for his mindset to burn out, but it wasn't. It was as good as Lomachenko's, where Lomachenko in the end had to change it, and he had to become the one who had to turn it around and start trying to put the pressure on, and that's where he lost it, because he changed his game plan because he left it too late.
Okay, well, Pat, we wish you all the best for Saturday night. We're obviously press conference tomorrow, weigh-in, and then obviously Saturday fight night. Just a couple of topics outside of Zelfa. Obviously, main event tomorrow on Saturday night. It's Joseph Parker and Barrett-Chisora. I spoke to both gentlemen today. Both are very confident. Both are saying, listen, it's going to be war. Someone's going to get knocked out. It's not going to go 12 rounds. Just want to get your assessment on how do you see that fight going? Is it going to be repeat or revenge?
It's funny, these kind of fights, because rematches, as we know, they can go either way, can't they? I mean, look at Tyson Fury with Deontay Wilder, look at Lyndon Arthur, Yard. So rematches really can, they're not something I would like to predict. I just say the best man will win tomorrow. It's going to be a good fight. I know Chisora thought he won the last fight, and it was. I would have thought Chisora would have won the last fight. It was mighty close. He didn't get the decision, so he feels he was outdone by, and I think differently, because it wasn't like by a massive margin that Parker really beat him. So of course Chisora is going to come back a different kind of Chisora. So hey, who knows?
No prediction. You're going to sit on the fence.
I'm going to sit on the fence.
Pat, also in the heavyweight division, finally Dillian Whyte has been called as a mandatory challenger to Tyson Fury. I know the fight isn't made. I know there's no deal in place, but the WBC, which was a stumbling block with Dillian, they finally said that Dillian can now, they have ordered Dillian to fight Tyson Fury. I just want to get your reaction to that.
I don't know what it is. See, with Tyson, you got to look at it this way. I don't care what anyone says. He's one of the best heavyweights that's out there today. He's versatile, what he can do. He might be a character, people might not know, but people don't really understand his mindset, which I do. I've known Tyson from he's been about 18 years old. I've worked with Tyson and been in the corner with him for one fight, spent time with him over in Germany. So I'm not just predicting that. I mean, I know this kid. I know what his mindset is. And what Tyson Fury says, he does. And he can do it. He's more than capable. In every event I've ever known him, he's made points to me back in the day. And he's done what he's said. And I like him, and I think, nothing against Dillian Whyte. I just think it's an handful, Tyson. I don't know. I can't even say you need something special to bring to Tyson. Yeah, it's not about the animosity. It's not about the wildness. You've got to be a smart, intelligent boxer to beat him.
Moving on, last weekend we saw Conor Benn return to the ring again with an emphatic knockout victory over Chris Algieri. I just want to touch on not the victory itself or the fight itself, because Conor was expected to beat Chris Algieri, but Conor's kind of relationship with his dad. His dad is basically on the other side of the world in Australia. Doesn't really have much to do with Conor's day-to-day boxing. He leaves that trust solely to Tony Sims in the gym. I know his father's here now, but he'll be going back to Australia back soon and leaving Conor here on his own with his team. How difficult it is sometimes when you've got a son who's a boxer to always be involved in every little thing that happens.
I think his dad's done the best thing ever, leaving him to do it and not trying to say, son, look, this is what I used to do, don't do it like me. I think his dad I think the way his dad's gone about it, his dad's a fan. And his dad loves him, and he's always supported him. And that's it. I remember meeting Conor a long time ago when he was a kid through Nigel, and he said, this is my son. And to see what he's doing now, it's great. And he's such a nice kid. He's so decent, so pleasant, and so ferocious in the ring. And that's what I love about him. I mean, you've got to admire them both, father and son.
Do you think he can go on and become a world champion? I know the welterweight division is stacked at the moment. Obviously, Terence Crawford, Ugas has the belt, and Errol Spence has the belts. But do you feel like in the next maybe 18 to 24 months he'll be ready to step up to that level?
Do you know what? I really do. I think he's come on leaps and bounds, Conor Benn, and I think he's proved everybody wrong. I think a lot of people were just thinking, oh, he's just trying to be like his dad, he's just this, he's just that. You know, we heard it all before, but you know what? I just love his attitude. He's proved them all wrong, and he's going to keep on proving them wrong. And I'm just saying, you know what? Go on, Conor, just do your thing, man. You know what I mean? Big respect.
Okay, Pat, I've just looked at my phone and it's 11:15 p.m. So I know you need to jump in that bath before that water turns cold, and you'll be cursing me if it goes cold, if you have to drain it out and fill it back up again. So I appreciate you giving me a little bit of time. We're in quite a lot of swagger tonight. Yeah.
Oh, it's just the old Luke, you know.
Chain, bracelet, ring.
Oh, well, you know how
Rolex.
it is. Oh, you know how it is, yeah. You know how it is. We've had a hard time out here.
Far from a hard time from where I'm standing.
No, you know, we just things come together. It's not, nothing was given to us. We've all had to, you know, and for what little that we've got, we've just got to live life and enjoy it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Pat, we wish you all the best for tomorrow night. Saturday night. I keep saying I think it's tomorrow, Saturday. All the best for Saturday night. Yeah, and we'll catch up. Press conference tomorrow, and then weigh in. So yeah, we'll catch up with you, I'm sure, during the rest of the week.
Thank you.
Pat Barrett for IFL TV. Thank you very much.